Zoe, welcome to Sugar Street. Last week on the channel we were talking about cake structures because I had a cake bust to make, Nancy here. So we did a video on how to make your own homemade cake structures, and if you missed that and you want to learn about that, then check out the video below. This week I thought it would be fun to put together a little time lapse with explanations so you can actually see how Nancy here came together. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can see she's a pretty large cake structure-wise. I've secured a central rod through an MDF board and then put another MDF board around about bust height and then screwed and attached in wire arms, all made food safe. It's really important that you do that. If I were going to make this cake again, I would put in an additional board around about her hip height because actually she was a very, very big cake and I think I was pushing it. A smaller cake you wouldn't need so much. So you can see her body is cake, I've ganached it, I've then gone in with Rice Krispie treats to form her head and her arms, and then I've ganached the whole lot. Before I start fine-tune modelling, I do some under modelling, so I've used some modelling chocolate just to pad out her boobs and her, collarbone. Now, I'm using modelling chocolate for her head, which I've coloured to a sort of nude skin colour, and I like to work from the top down, putting in a rough nose. You saw earlier that I socketed out the eyes and pushed that into the Rice Krispie treats. I find eyes easier to do that way. People do them different ways, but I like to physically have a socket, and then I make my eyeballs out of white gum paste so they're nice and hard, and pop them in and then build the eye lids and the brows and everything on top. Because it's gum paste, I can also paint with alcohol and petal dust. It's much easier to go onto. So then you can see I'm working down to the nose. I've created a bit of a muzzle around the mouth area because obviously mouths have teeth. She has teeth. She's singing, so her mouth is open. So you want that protrusion there. Some fine little eyebrows and then her ears. Normally a face would take me about 5-6 hours, maybe more, for a competition piece. So moving on, we can see I've covered her dress in blue sugar paste, and then I'm sort of doing it in sections, trying to logistically work my way around covering the cake. So I'm now covering her arms and then have gone back in to cap off her sleeves. It's always quite good to work that out because there is an order to putting your cake together. And then I'm just airbrushing to add a little bit of depth and colour, and then a bit of trim, a little belt, some cap sleeves. I wanted a 1940s looking dress, so I did go online and have a little look at styles of dresses, and this is what I came up with. So finally I'm now going to go in and paint her face. You can see that she's quite shiny. That's because I've covered her in a coating of vegetable fat, or Trex we use in the UK. The reason I do that is that when I go in and put my dry petal dusts on to colour her, if I make a mistake or I don't like a colour, I can wipe it off again. And that shininess does dry. It sinks into the modelling chocolate and it dries to a matte sheen. So she won't stay shiny, but it's much more forgiving to work on. I have given her some blush. I've added a little bit of definition to her skin, painted her eyebrows and her lips. I'm not going to give her eyelashes, so I'm just painting on a thick eyeliner to define her eyes. But if I were to do lashes, I would probably use something like vermicelli noodles because I like to keep everything edible. She's got some nice red lippy on. I'm just painting some flowers on her dress to give it a little bit of interest really. And finally her hair. I always think bust cakes look like aliens until the hair is done. And there she goes. She is all finished. So that's it. There she is, all put together, all made. And this madam is off to a tea dance. later today, where she's going to go and woo and delight, hopefully, the good folk of the Alzheimer's Society, where she is going to hopefully put smiles on their faces and fill their bellies. Anyway, thanks for joining. If you like what I do, it would be great if you could subscribe, give me a thumbs up, it means an awful lot. And look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.